Hello and welcome to my review of the Otterbox Commuter case for the iPhone 6 and 6S Plus. This is a 3-layer protective case that comes with a screen protector and 2 other layers that are a hard shell and a soft shell. I have the Admiral Blue color here with a baby blue slip cover. This is a 2-part case, as you may have noticed. It has some indentations and textures near the power button and in the corners, which you can see here. These offer an air cushion which helps in drops and will deform to absorb impact. And these can make a big difference in phone survival during drops. Here's the back cover as well. This is pretty durable, very hard, and has a nice texture to it, with a little bit slippery on the sides. That's pretty much the gist of this case, so let's put it on an iPhone. This is a 6S Plus in space gray. So this case does work with the older iPhones. It's a bit of a pain to put on though. Alright, so now that we have that on, we can take a little bit of a better tour around this case. As you can see, there's an Apple logo cutout as well as a nice big camera cutout. This doesn't cause any issues with the flash reflecting off it or anything like that. It's about doubles the thickness of the iPhone 6S Plus or 6 Plus, and definitely is very protective. I trust this much more than the symmetry in drops. But it does have its drawbacks as well. You can see here is the speaker cutout and microphone cutout with the flaps that reveal the headphone jack and lightning port. These are pretty big ports, and as you can see, my big headphone jack for my AKG Q701s fits in nicely with ease, as well as my non-standard monoprice iPhone cord from a lightning cable, and that fits in without an issue as well. Now this won't work with docks very easily because of these flaps, so if you'd like to use this with a dock, I would rule this out as an option. The buttons are covered by the slipcover and are easier to click than in the Commuter and the Defender. And there's also a pretty big cutout for the vibration switch. Other than that, there's not much else to show on this case. Durability is pretty good. This scratch is much less easy than the symmetry, and I find that the rubber looks good for a couple of weeks, but at least on my black Commuter, it started to chafe and sort of look like an exterior finish rubbed off, which is a little bit concerning, but Otterbox does have a very good warranty program. My only other issue with this case is that it seems like some of the corners and stuff don't fit well. As you can see, there's like a little bit of a gap, and that's a little bit annoying, and dust can collect there easily. That's the one thing I've noticed with this, that dust collects in these, these crevices that come because of poor build quality or who knows what. This is definitely a very big one. I can compare this to the symmetry. which is a bit thinner, but the big difference is in hand that the symmetry is less wide and less tall. But you do lose the Apple logo cutout when you go for the symmetry, and you also lose the dust protection, and it doesn't come standard with the screen protector. And talking about screen protectors, the one difference between these two cases at least is that this case will push on the side of your screen protector. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bubble forming because of its rubber lip that comes close. So if you'd like to use it with a glass screen protector, I know that my Extreme Guard worked with this, but again, this pushes on the sides of plastic screen protectors that go more edge to edge, which is what I'm using right now, while this one does not. Another comparison I'd like to make is between the Commuter and the Defender. So it slots in pretty nicely. It's probably about 50% less thick, and definitely not as tall as the Defender. The Commuter though, another thing to point out is that the Apple logo is not protected on the Commuter, which I don't like very much because if I'm going to put a case on it, I'm going to scratch up the Apple logo, and I've also noticed sometimes there can be a discoloration in the metal around an Apple logo cutout in cases, which is not very great. In terms of if I would recommend this case, I cannot say that I really would, especially with the symmetry, because the Commuter finds itself in between the Defender and the symmetry, and I really feel that the added bulk, unless you really drop your phone often, is not really worth it, especially because you lose the dock functionality. You always have to use these port covers. The fact that it pushes on your screen protector, the fact that it's a little bit harder to use your home button, and also the fact that the symmetry is a one-part and this is a two-part case that's extremely difficult to put on, but also has these I guess inconsistencies in build quality, while the symmetry cannot. I've noticed on another Commuter I had that the rubber on the bottom was actually curved upwards, and I had returned that one, and that was disappointing as well. And just given its size and where it finds itself between the Defender and the symmetry, it makes more sense to go for the symmetry for protection, or for the Defender if you're really a crazy crack who destroys their phones, or if you're giving it to your child, I guess. All in all, I cannot say that I'd recommend this. It's a good case, I guess, if you don't want something quite as thick as the Defender and you'd like to use a glass screen protector, but I would recommend getting some sort of protector for the back as well, just to protect the back of your phone. Because there's no point in getting a big case like this just to have a dent in your Apple logo or scratch up your Apple logo. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting a back protector. And realistically, I would go for the symmetry over the Commuter any day, especially even with the price difference and everything. This is a better case in every single way, other than having an Apple logo cutout. Thanks for watching, and I hope I made you make a decision.